former president is expected to return to Butler, Pennsylvania on October 5th, which is exactly 1 month before Election Day. Meanwhile, the Justice Department is weighing more serious charges against Ryan Ruth, the suspect in the second assassination attempt. Now, prosecutors are pursuing attempted assassination charges, which carries a maximum sentence of life in prison. Ruth remains behind bars for now after being denied bond by a federal judge. This after prosecutors presented chilling new evidence, including a letter he wrote several months ago urging others to, quote, finish the job if he fails. We're also learning Ruth had 6 cell phones in his car at the time of his arrest, including one with a search for directions to Mexico from Palm Beach. Agents found Ruth's fingerprint on tape used to attach a scope to the rifle found outside of Trump's golf course. And a former FBI agent says Ruth was likely influenced by other people. Listen.
I don't think there are too many actual lone wolves out there anymore. And I think Ruth is no different in this particular case. So he may have been operating on his own that very day, laying prone position outside the golf course, but he's been influenced by lots of other people.
Ruth is currently facing 2 federal firearm charges.
Bigger, better, I'm back. Than ever, I'm back. You f***ers, I'm back. F***ers. Better, I'm back.
Show yourself!
It cannot be. I'm back.
Again.
Better, I'm back. Than ever, I'm back.
Okay, so we now have competing meme teams at the company, and we have competing meme visions. Which meme vision shall win out? I really like the idea that Donald Trump should grow a beard. I mean, like, Trump looks great with a beard. Trump looks great with a beard. Come on, you want the Trump beard? Beard Trump. Which iteration of Trump is bearded Trump? He looks fantastic as Gandalf. I'm sure we can get plenty of AIs with Trump with a beard. Maybe we'll put those up later on in the show. Okay, I can already hear the pitter patter of the typing into Grok. Trump with beard. Trump with beard. Gandalf beard. Oh, yeah. All right. We are in good spirits this morning, Tuesday, September 24th, 2024. Donald Trump announces triumphant return to Butler, Pennsylvania in rally that we will be at. We're going to go. We're going to go to Butler, Pennsylvania. We're going back. We already went once. We're going to go back to the rally. This is the assassination site. This is the energy. New polls spell bad news for Kamala Harris. Senator Ron Johnson joins the show to talk about all of the people trying to kill Donald Trump and why the federal government's doing absolutely nothing. Instead, the federal government is actually putting bounties out on Donald Trump's head, as we covered yesterday. Why are they releasing this information? They won't release any information on Hunter Biden's laptop. We don't know anything about Jeffrey Epstein or his clientele. We know nothing about the Vegas shooter. But they released a Donald Trump $150,000 bounty to murder President Trump yesterday. Totally and completely evil, along with some crazy news about George Soros and the acquisition of media by foreign nations. Oh, really? I thought that was a bad... Really? Hold on. So that is a bad thing, actually, and is illegal and shouldn't happen in this country. But George Soros is allowed to buy like all of America's radio stations with foreign investment? That seems a little suspicious. We're going to cover all of it, ladies and gentlemen. Very, very important show. My name is Benny Johnson, and this is The Benny Show. Okay, so we are in the home stretch. We are 40 days away from the presidential election. I cannot believe it is the end of September. Oh, man. Halloween is around the corner, and we are going to see some crazy stuff. Man, we're going to see some crazy stuff. And I'm going to tell you who I was talking with yesterday. Person who's very close in and tied in with Donald Trump's campaign, saying, get ready. You ain't seen nothing yet. And we're going to cover Donald Trump release his schedule. We're getting into closer Trump, finisher Trump, the Donald Trump of 2016. The energy is back. Make sure that you are locked in and prepared for all this breaking news. You know that we'll be live. Make sure you're watching on a Patriot Mobile device. Patriot Mobile is our tried and true trusted friend when we are on the road, when we are breaking news to you, when we are delivering news to you. And your feed, we are locked in and using Patriot Mobile. I'm a proud partner with Patriot Mobile because they are on the front lines fighting for the First and Second Amendments. They go together, and these are the amendments that we are going to save this election cycle. Go to patriotmobile.com/Benny or call 972-PATRIOT, patriotmobile.com/Benny, 972-PATRIOT for a free month now with the offer code Benny. All right, Donald Trump returns. I love this energy. Here we go, baby. Donald Trump announced that he will be returning to Butler on October the 5th. This is going to be 1 month exactly before Election Day. I love it. I'm a firm believer that President Trump should have brought up the fact that he was shot and that people in his movement died at the hands of a leftist assassin who was radicalized by Kamala Harris and the corporate media. He should have done that during the debate. I'm not trying to leverage criticism against Trump. Trump was clearly the victim of a mob assassination attack, journalistically at that debate. I think that was the worst possible environment for President Trump to be in. Everything was rigged against him. Kamala Harris's yaya sister, sorority sister, was asking the damn questions. The lady that set Kamala Harris up with her husband was in charge of the debate. The ABC News executive producer who played matchmaker for Kamala, she's in charge. They openly admit that they rigged the whole thing against President Trump. But one time, and what I mean by that is that Lindsay Davis, one of the moderators, said there was no plan to fact check Kamala. We saw the way that the CNN debate went, and we weren't going to go that route. We were only planning on fact checking Trump. What does that tell you? You don't need the ABC News affidavit from people inside ABC News allegedly saying that they had given Kamala Harris the questions or subjects of the questions in advance. You don't need that. They are openly admitting that they rigged it against Trump by the absolute nature of not having any plan to fact check Kamala Harris, who was spewing lies, lied on that debate stage, according to the Federalist, 27 times. So this was rigged. Donald Trump one time brought up the fact that he was shot. I'm not sure if we have that. Do we have that clip, Klein? Brought up one time that he was shot. And David Muir goes, we don't have time for that. We don't have time for that. You know what that means? That means that they know how powerful this moment is. They know how powerful this moment was. I can show you clips, and maybe we should put this together. I can show you clips of The Rock, Mark Zuckerberg, Elton John, tweets from Jeff Bezos, some of the people that have the biggest TDS and some of the greatest Trump derangement in the world, saying, man, I'm really proud of Donald Trump in this moment. Man, this was the moment that sealed it for me. This was the moment that pushed Elon Musk over the edge. Elon Musk now wearing MAGA hats around the world. Elon Musk wore a MAGA hat meeting with the president of Argentina yesterday, Javier Milei. So they know the power of this moment. And so they're going to do everything they can to strangle it, to stop you from talking about it. Yes, Trump was shot by a far left wing. We know this because he donated to ActBlue. A Joe Biden donor shot Trump. A Joe Biden donor activist, a guy with a Biden bumper sticker, Kamala bumper sticker, I guess we should say now, tried to shoot Trump a couple days ago. Why is that not the biggest narrative on planet Earth? Stop talking about the dogs and cats in Springfield. Who cares at this point? Left-wingers are roving the world, from all over the world, are roving the country, trying to kill Trump. I talked to Matt Gaetz about this yesterday. So Donald Trump bringing the spotlight back onto that and saying, how can you possibly support this party? How can you support these people that are willing to do this, to engage in political violence? How have they escaped ridicule? How's Kamala Harris not been asked questions about this? Has Kamala Harris been asked one time to denounce the shooters? These are missed opportunities. Obviously, I am not trying to criticize Trump, but I'm telling you, like the Trump's preparation debate team, if I were in that room, every single question would have been, oh yeah, I was shot by your supporter, by a donor to your team. So what do you have to say to the family of Corey Compertor? I love that President Trump is bringing this back into the spotlight. Okay, here we go. Trump plans to return to Butler on October 5th. We've already reached out to the Trump campaign as a show. We want to be there. We want to be behind the scenes, behind the stage. I say this humbly, that no other show and no other channel on earth has done more to try and investigate what happened there, to bring that truth forward. I say it humbly because you, the audience, gives us the power to do this. Our Butler documentary has been seen by tens of millions of people. We're doing our very best to effectuate actual questioning of what's gone on there. We've been live for every single Secret Service deposition before Congress, subpoena, every hearing. We want answers. The way to get answers, and something that Donald Trump has that is the number one reason they hate it. They don't hate Donald Trump because he's a populist. They do hate him because of that, but that's not the number one reason. They hate Donald Trump because he is a creation of them. Donald Trump is and has been a celebrity for 50 years. He was friends with everybody in Hollywood. He was friends with some of the biggest moguls. He had the number one show on NBC, The Apprentice, for a decade. Donald Trump has the capacity, the power to completely and totally grab the news cycle by the balls and yank it anywhere he wants it to go. And so I am so muscularly in favor of President Trump going back to Butler, because this is something we should be talking about, and we should have never stopped talking about it. We've tried our hardest on this program to never stop talking about it. Trump's return. The sources reportedly ask to remain anonymous due to the rally not being officially announced yet. But it has been officially announced. So I think at time of writing, perhaps for this Breitbart piece, incorrect, but it has been officially announced. Trump survived the first assassination attempt on his life during July 13th rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. The assassin Thomas Crooks, who we know nothing about, who was sitting there on FaceTime with somebody before the rally. Who was that? Who's Thomas Crooks? We now have new footage of Thomas Crooks sitting there on FaceTime on his phone, talking with somebody. Who'd he talking to? Who is Thomas Crooks chatting with? Boy, it sure would be nice to know these things. Sure would be nice to try and figure this stuff out. Hell, I'd be very curious. The crack open, you're telling me you can't crack open his device? You can't tell us who he was operating with? Every single expert who's been on our program tells us that there is no explanation for how a 19-year-old zit-faced loser with no friends and no life was able to pull off building 3 canister bombs, get within 100 yards of the president, injure the president with a bullet, kill members of the America First MAGA movement. Corey Compertor, rest in peace. We love you and your family. We'll do anything for you. We hope that you sue the Secret Service and the federal government and get and bankrupt these people. We hope that there are civil and criminal liabilities for the people that planned this. I hope that they are all dragged into court and that they spend the rest of their lives in jail and that they're bankrupted for life, forever. The Secret Service, the people who Kim Cheadle on down, those people, I will donate right now to any fund that says we are going to go after for civil penalties the people who planned this rally that took the life of my dad, Corey Compertor. They deserve it. They're looking into it, apparently. So very interesting. Hopefully they will be at the rally. You can never say with these kind of things. It's obviously a tough subject, but that family loves President Trump. Corey Compertor's family. He has 2 surviving daughters and his wife, and they love President Trump. And I think they've been treated very, very well by the campaign. And, I hope that they're going to be at this rally. We will be at this rally. Mark my words. We will be at this rally. Trump survived the first assassination attempt on his life, July 13th. Reportedly shooting the 45th president in the ear and allegedly killing 4 yards away from the stage. What is this reportedly and allegedly? He did do these things. I don't understand why they're writing it like this. Okay, that's fine. On July 26th, Trump announced on social media that he would be returning to Butler. It remains unclear. The October 5th rally will be held at the same site as the July 13th rally. Guys, we're going to need to find a more up-to-date writing on this, because they have already announced it. Trump's gone out and announced it and everything like that. I think this was perhaps written in an older framing. Breitbart News reported Trump survived the second assassination attempt on his life on September 15th, 2 months after the first attempt in Butler. Then wannabe assassin Ryan Routh was allegedly caught hiding in the bushes, Trump International Golf Course, with AK-47 style rifle scope, lying in wait for Trump, who was golfing, to come into view. Donald Trump was just 1 hole away, 300 yards away. Ryan Routh could have taken the shot and killed Trump. Any sniper will tell you Ryan Routh could have taken that shot and killed Trump instantly. 300 yards is nothing for a trained sniper. 300 yards is absolutely nothing. Snipers are trained out to 2,000 yards. So 300 yards away, that's where President Trump was. Ryan Routh could have absolutely killed President Trump that day. Secret Service agents apparently traveled a hole ahead of President Trump, golfing the secure area, reportedly encountered Routh. Where were the drones? Where was Secret Service agents standing outside of the perimeter of the golf course? Where was the deterrence? Yeah. We'll ask. Senator Ron Johnson's on the show today, so we'll ask him. He's been absolutely one of the best. So we look forward, ladies and gentlemen, to doing our best to bring you this route. This is excellent stuff. Do we have more on this? Do we have more on actually like Trump announcing it and the campaign and the camp actually announcing it? It's not on their site yet. Okay. So is it really all like unannounced? Interesting. So they haven't announced it yet. So this is all speculation and internal reportings. Okay. All right. Well, then I was wrong. I was under the impression that Trump team had already announced this, but I guess this is just all internal. And we've been speaking with the Trump team internally to see what the best way to cover this is for you and for our audience, who they love dearly. So what would be the best way? This is what we're thinking about internally right now. Do we go up on Trump's plane with him, and like travel completely, do an entire behind the scenes? Are we, sort of integrated, like there on stage, live streaming, the whole thing? You could do like a really cool, like, do we do like a really cool, like full live stream of Donald Trump the whole day? That'd be kind of awesome to do instead of just covering what is said on stage, which is fine, but like do like a full live stream of President Trump behind the scenes. That'd be kind of awesome. Maybe that's what we should ask for. We're investing in equipment to do that right now. So that'd be pretty sweet. This is confirmed. ALX tells me we have confirmed it internally. I don't want to give you the impression that it's not confirmed. We have confirmed this internally with the team, with Trump's team, and we will be working to bring you the absolute best coverage on that. Okay, so speaking of good coverage, there's a dude named Harry Enton. You hear us talk about him on the show all the time because we like his like on CNN. He's just one of these guys that gives very straight dish polling on how the race is going. And I think this is very important. We do our very best to bring on pollsters who do not lie to us, that are not hopium and copium, and are not running fake polls. I personally believe that oh, yikes. Holy smokes. Okay. We got some breaking news here. ALX just sent it in. So I guess ALX we're okay to put this on. Okay. Holy moly. Yikes. What a messed up world. This is breaking like right now while we're live. Son of Ryan Routh, accused in Trump assassination attempt, arrested for child pornography. How many times we got a spiritual problem in this country? Spiritual problem. Orrin Routh is the guy who defended his father, by the way. These are the people, that make up the institutional left. This guy's defending his father, saying that he hates Trump. I'm pretty sure this was the guy, right? He was talking to the Daily Mail saying he hates Trump like any reasonable person. He's going to be a martyr. My dad's going to be a martyr. He was like celebrating. He was celebrating that his dad tried to kill President Trump. Son of Ryan Routh, man arrested in connection with the second assassination attempt of Donald Trump, has been taken into custody for federal charges of possessing child pornography. Investigators say they discovered hundreds of files of child pornography during a search of the Routh's residence in Guilford County, North Carolina. Oh my gosh. Saturday, conducted in connection with the investigation. They raided the dude's house and then they found all this. The two charges he faces include receipt of child pornography, possession of child pornography. The unrelated investigation refers to Routh's father, who remains in custody. Judge ordered him to detain pretrial detainment on Monday. A spokesperson for the U.S. Attorney's Office in the Middle District of Carolina confirmed this to ABC News. Investigators said that the pornography was found on a Samsung Galaxy Note device located inside of Orrin Routh, is the son's primary bedroom in the residence, as well as another Galaxy Note device in Routh's possession. I assume Routh meaning the son, but are they talking about the father as well? I'm not sure. I'm not sure how to read that line. In Routh's possession. Well, A review of the SD cards located in device 1 revealed that they contain hundreds of child pornography images. Prosecutors wrote in a criminal complaint. The files include, oh man, bad stuff. Wow. The complaint included graphic descriptions of the videos in the chat. Orrin Routh allegedly responded to someone advertising the content for sale. It's despicable. I mean, I guess it's worth, I guess it's worth taking a, and this is now on the Daily Mail. This is now breaking across the internet. I guess it's worth taking a moment to say this is why we do the verse of the day on the channel. This is why we often talk about like if we were fighting spiritual battles. Like how many of these stories do you need to see to understand that there are the forces of evil and darkness are trying to kill President Trump? There is nothing more demonic in our world than the production of or the holding of child pornography. There is truly nothing. It's not enough time to go into it, and probably bring on some experts to if we wanted to actually ever talk about it. But the desecrating of innocence and good and the spark of life and beauty that God gives us at creation, that is the utmost evil. What a sick family. I say this because it simply is an indicator. You scroll back up to the headline, please. It simply is an indicator of evil. That's all. It's an indicator of evil. It's an indicator of the depravity and the darkness that is actually hunting President Trump right now. There are no words for the sickness that this is. And so bundle it all together and accept the responsibility of all of us uniting in prayer, protecting the president. And obviously you can see the demon screams of some of the most demonic people on earth. This is, clearly this is what demonic activity looks like, seeking to steal, kill, and destroy, which is obviously what the scriptures teach us about the nature of Satan. So in the Christian tradition, Satan is here to kill, steal, kill, and destroy. And kill is kill's part of that. And the guy's father is out trying to kill Trump. And this is what his son's doing. So are you locked in? Are you locked in? Do you understand that we're in a spiritual battle here? Forces of good and evil. Evil is hunting Trump. Evil is hunting Trump. All the more reason, ladies and gentlemen, for us to talk through our polls today. Here we go. This is our polling for today. I was just speaking about Harry Enton on CNN, who gives this very dry and data-based explanation of what's happening right now, explaining that these polls are breaking bad for Kamala Harris. Here we go.
That said, why is there an explanation why Donald Trump is doing better here than here?
Yeah, I think the big reason why is this, which is Trump's 2024 coalition is more diverse. All right, so this was among likely voters nationwide. Back in 2020, 81% of Donald Trump voters were white. Look at where we are today. It's just 77%. The non-white percentage jumps up from 16% to 20%. And if you know anything about those Sun Belt battleground states, is that they are more diverse than those Great Lake battleground states. In the Southwest, they're more Hispanic than they are nationwide. In the Southeast, in North Carolina and Georgia, they are more African American than they are nationwide, John. And I think the real question here is, what does this mean for the electoral map? Because that's what we're all interested in. And it is, look, folks, it's just as tight as it can possibly be, because if the polls are exactly right, yes, Kamala Harris carries these Great Lake battleground states, but of course, Donald Trump carries North Carolina, Georgia, and Arizona, and that leads to 276 electoral votes for Kamala Harris to 262 for Donald Trump. But that is only if the polls are exactly right. You saw back in slide 2 how close these states are. The bottom line is we're just going to continue to mention this over and over and over again. It is the closest race in a generation, one of which I honestly really don't know who's going to win.
Okay, so want to give some context to this. Right now, they were trying to bait Trump into a second debate. Why? Ask yourself that. Why? When a team wins the Super Bowl, boxer wins a fight. When you win at anything in life, Do you immediately demand a rematch? Do you scream rematch? There is something internally happening in the Kamala Harris campaign that makes them scream that they must drag Donald Trump back on stage into a giant bear trap created by their design. They're now demanding it be on CNN, right? Now, let's remember, the goal of the first debate on CNN was to get Joe Biden out of the race. That was the trap. The trap was not set for Trump. The first CNN debate was designed to shove Joe into a trash compactor, then into a sink disposal, then into the mouth of a open volcano. Erupting volcano. The goal of the next debate, the ABC News debate, was, of course, to completely do the exact same thing to Donald Trump. That was the intended goal, and this was the intended result as you watch this in a completely rigged debate. The goal of the third debate would be to try and to kneecap Trump as hard as you can and get as good of a soundbite as you can, because they got no good sound bites out of the first debate. They got zero good sound bites out of the first debate. Nothing. Did you see anything going viral with Kamala Harris? Nothing. When you share the TikTok account of ABC News, where President Trump clips are doing hundreds of millions of views, and Kamala clips are going, nobody's watching them. So many people consume the debates online. And Donald Trump had a very muscular position. It was in the intended knockout effect. And they're looking at their internals and they're saying, my heavens, we have to do something. We're going to lose. One final other piece of fascinating information that you have to look at these things through the long lens is Donald Trump is polling better than he's ever polled before, ever. Donald Trump is polling better than he's ever polled ever. Put up Rasmussen here, please, ladies and gentlemen. And Klein, we're just going to Killer Klein. We're just going to go kind of through our list of polling here. Better than Donald Trump has ever polled in any race, guys. So he's been running for office now for a decade, right? Announced in 2015. So for the better part of a decade, Donald Trump's been running publicly for office, announced runs for office. He's toyed with it since the 70s, actually. But Donald Trump announcing his... So better than ever. Donald Trump is polling better than ever. Kamala Harris is polling worse than any Democrat has ever polled against Donald Trump. So who cares if Kamala's up by a point? It is irrelevant because everyone knows how these things go. Fake suppression polls that over-index Democrats, polls that are primarily conducted in New York and California. That's how you get your national polling. And it's all fake. And they know that the Trump vote is deeply real. And we're going to jump into that in just a second. Here's Rasmussen. Rasmussen is one of our favorites. We just love their day-to-day tracking. So what you can see, obviously, is the trend line. And why this is very important is because it doesn't just take a snapshot in time. And this is what we find walking the streets in Tampa, Florida, of all places. There's like this deep and very motivated silent Trump vote. And you have to be able to out-poll that because those people are very hard to hunt down and to find. And those people are very hard to put on metrically. They make it socially appropriate to endorse Kamala Harris and not publicly appropriate to endorse President Trump. This is the goal. This is the goal of the PSYOP. All right. Nonetheless, the trend line for Donald Trump is 3 or 4 points above Kamala Harris. This would mean a Donald Trump victory in the popular vote, which would mean a 100% probability of President Trump winning the election. Okay. Well, that's what Rasmussen says. There's our Rasmussen daily poll. Rasmussen, Pennsylvania and Georgia. Very important. Pennsylvania completely tied up in the Rasmussen poll. Pennsylvania completely tied up. Georgia, President Trump up 3 points. Man, this is not going to get better for Kamala Harris. These are Emerson and The Hill showing the exact same thing. Completely tied race. In Pennsylvania, in North Carolina, in Michigan, in Nevada, in Wisconsin, in Arizona, in Georgia. Not a good sign. These are not good signs because Joe Biden was up 10 and 20 points in these places. Remember Joe Biden by 18 in Wisconsin? Joe Biden up 10 and 20 points in these races. Election model flips back to Trump, moves Michigan and Wisconsin from leans Harris to toss up, correction. And it looks like, man, I mean, it's just by a razor right now. What does this mean? These are not, I mean, people get worried about this. Remember that needle was literally cranked so far to the left, I guess it would be to the left, right? That it was breaking in 2020 and 2016. What does that mean, baby? What does this mean? Quirky election poll that has been wrong only once in 40 years predicts one presidential candidate is burnt. Oh, what is this? Okay. The Cookie poll. C is for cookie, then D is for democracy. An Ohio bake shop attempts to correctly predict the result of the 2024 election. Sale of candidate-themed treats. Buskin Bakery in Cincinnati has only been wrong once in the last 40 years, predicting the results of the presidential race. The shops of various locations sells cookies with the candidates' faces on them. And a third-way cookie party option with a smiley face. So far, the store's history could be great news for Donald Trump, who has outsold Kamala Harris cookies by 3,000 to 2,000. So there you go. It's always important to note potential third-party candidate playing a spoiler. Cookie Party has sold 300 votes so far. So Donald Trump leading in the cookie caucus. Anybody from Ohio watching? Do you go to this Buskin? Do you go to this cookie shop? Buskin. The amazing Ashley, who lives in Philadelphia, sent me recently. Ashley, can you resend that? Another cookie poll out of Philly, out of Pennsylvania. Apparently, Trump is destroying and dominating. Ashley, drop that in the producers' chat, and we'll pop that up. Donald Trump leads Kamala Harris among Teamsters in all states. Okay, that's not good. Is there any demographic that Kamala Harris is actually leading with? Yes, unhappy, unmarried, white women, overly medicated, and black voters. But even with black voters, President Trump is doing historically well at 25% of black men under the age of 50. Also with Latinos. So there you go. Swing state voters back Trump over Harris on key global policy questions. This from Axios. Here we go. Why it matters. President Biden will give a farewell address to the UN General Assembly. I think that's actually going on right now. We don't want to bore you and cringe you to death, so we're not going to be broadcasting that live. Our producers are online, and we'll check to see if there's anything noteworthy from that. Voters will soon decide between the relative continuity with Harris or a 180-degree turn back to predecessor of Joe Biden. By the numbers, voters nationwide see Harris doing better to defend U.S. interests, according to the poll, but Trump leads 56-44 in a category among voters in Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, Nevada, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. This is a trick that they play to get headlines. Just a reminder that national polls don't matter. It doesn't matter. What a national poll allows pollsters to do is to go heavily into New York, Vermont, California, and to say, oh, we did a national poll. Harris is up by 10. Doesn't matter. What matters are these swing states. Trump leads Harris 56-44 in swing states on his signature policy, immigration. Oh, boy. Harris narrowly leads Trump nationally on the questions of who would respond more effectively to global prices. Give me a break. Honestly, give me a break. Or improve America's reputation, dear heavens. Between the lines, Harris's foreign policy vision is less well-defined for voters than Trump's, particularly in swing states. Trump's campaign has been bombarding with messages for months about, peace through strength. We've seen that independents in battleground states tend to prefer less interventionist foreign policy. So the fact that voters see Trump as more likely to end wars in Ukraine and Gaza might strengthen his popularity, which is a very good thing. Foreign policy is arguably an area which presidents have most direct influence and has not been a major issue for voters this cycle. It should be. By the way, I just cannot believe what I saw yesterday with the U.S. Air Force flying Zelenskyy into effectively campaign against Donald Trump. should be an impeachable offense. So you're using the U.S. military. This is amazing. So Donald Trump gets impeached in a psychotic, frothing at the mouth hoax for just calling Zelenskyy and saying Joe Biden's a criminal. Well, guess what? Joe Biden's a criminal. The Biden family is a criminal family. Hunter Biden's pleading guilty all around the country to multiple criminal offenses. Joe Biden and the Democrat apparatus got Donald Trump impeached for simply calling Zelenskyy and saying, you should look into this because the guy's a criminal, right? Biden's a criminal. Trump impeached. They said that's election interference. Quid pro quo, right? Election interference. Yet our own Air Force is flying in Zelenskyy to meet with Democrats and talk shit about Donald Trump, which he did yesterday. On the U.S. taxpayer dime into a swing state in Pennsylvania. This is remarkable. There's a transcription of Zelenskyy being like, Trump is too radical. J.D. Vance is too radical. I don't like them. He's campaigning. Presidential campaigning done on the backs of American military and American taxpayer dollars, which completely prop up Zelenskyy. How is that even how is it even legal? It's cringe-inducingly desperate. It's clear, like it should clearly be impeachable. You shouldn't be able to fly in foreign leaders to campaign for you. But honestly, I got to tell you, don't actually mind it. Here's why. This entire war is deeply unpopular. It's not every single day that you have a member of Congress come on your show live and tell you that you were the subject of a classified intel briefing. We had that yesterday with Matt Gaetz. That we were the subject of a classified intel op briefing for cybersecurity. And to say, of course, that we were the victims in a wartime psyop operation. It's crazy. It was crazy. We live in crazy times. But I'll say, I told Matt, and I'll say it again, as you've heard me say many, many times on this show, I don't want war. I don't want a war in Ukraine. I think that Zelensky's a douchebag. I think that Putin's a dictator. I don't want hundreds of thousands of young men, women, children to die in these wars. I don't want us to fund it. I don't want to pay for that. There are so many problems in this country. We're paying for more problems and more death 5,000 miles away. I don't want that. I don't want the war in Israel, Gaza. I don't want that to happen. I don't want it. I don't like it. I don't approve of it. I will never advocate or agitate for one side of those. I think it's all evil. I think that, quite frankly, wars are often sold to us as two, angels fighting demons. That's not the case. It's often just two demons fighting each other. And that's why I'm for peace and against war. War steals our treasure from our treasury and steals our greatest treasure, of course, the lives of the young men and women who serve in our military and armed services. So I'm against it. What people see in this is the new forever war. What they see in Ukraine and Zelenskyy is new forever war, right? And I think that voters are repulsed by that, actually. I don't want all of my money going to Ukraine. I want my money here in this country. This country's in shambles. We need help. And so I think this will do far more damage, actually. Like reminding people the billions, trillions we've spent in Ukraine. Okay, bold strategy, Cotton. Bold strategy. Let's see if it pays off for them. I was disgusted by it. I really was. They are signing. It's amazing. Put that up. They're signing bombs. They're signing bombs here. ALX is telling me I'm getting ahead of myself. This is in the show. This is your new Democrat Party, huh? New Democrat Party, the party of Dick Cheney, Liz Cheney. How you feel, Green Day? How does it feel, Green Day, to write an entire album about how much you hate Dick Cheney and now you're on the same political side as him? How's that feel? Here you go, the party of war and carnage and destruction. The Democrat Party. Party of populists who want peace is the Republican Party. The party of the working class. There you go. There's your party, libs. How you like it? Imagine what they've done to these poor people. How they've broken their brains. How they've psyoped these poor people who want, they're not poor. I mean, honestly, you should just think for yourself. There's like people who have actually, anyone who's who's capable of critical thought and self-assessment can like go back and say, wow, I've been lied to, and like leave the Democrat Party. RFK is doing that. Nicole Shanahan's doing that. Tulsi Gabbard's doing that. Tons of people, millions of people, by the millions, are doing that. We meet them every single day in the street when we go on do man on the streets, and saying, hold on, you people had me marching for peace in the Middle East and spending every last dollar on Amnesty International that I had to donate, and now you're signing bombs and like lighting money we don't have on fire for more war and forever war. No, you people have been like deeply tricked. 8 paths to victory. I thought this was very, very interesting. 8 paths to victory for Trump and for Kamala in the election. That's from the Washington Post. This is very unique. I think the top line is just kind of wild, because what you can see here is how much Kamala needs to win, and how relatively few Donald Trump needs to win. And we've been talking about this, right? Pennsylvania, Georgia, North Carolina. How Donald Trump can pretty much lock in like solid. Kamala Harris is not up in a single Georgia poll. Kamala Harris is not up in a single Arizona poll. Yet Georgia and Arizona, you are like this close. You are this close. In a moment here, we'll have the senator from Wisconsin actually joining the program to talk with us about it. Could everything end in an electoral college tie? Oh man, there are scenarios where we could all be tied on election. What does that mean? I tell you what it means. It means that Donald Trump becomes president, Kamala Harris stays as vice president, and we film a sitcom. And we film a sitcom of the two of them living in the White House together. That's what happens. That's what happens if the tie. I'm telling you, we should pass a constitutional amendment for that right now, just for the sake of, because like, whatever. This is Elon's razor. The most entertaining outcome has always got to be the most likely. All right, here we go. Kamala Harris is going to have, you can see here, Kamala Harris is going to have to win, obviously, she's going to have to like win major groupings of states in order to peel back and turn the tide. But what she's doing is she's fighting upstream, because the energy on this pathway is in favor of Trump, given all available polling, and certainly given the polling histories. This is obviously really nicely laid out by Scott Pressler, who has just flipped Luzerne County, Pennsylvania. Luzerne? Yeah. Luzerne. My apologies. I'm not from Pennsylvania. I'm not sure I've ever been to Luzerne County. Luzerne County, Pennsylvania. Sorry about that. Ashley, who lives in Pennsylvania, is probably screaming at me right now. It's a monumental, earth-shattering, ground-shaking news. Thank you to every single volunteer who contributed. The county registration is what Scott Pressler is talking about. County registration is now flipped to Republican. This is happening all across Pennsylvania. It's an exciting time. It really is. People are actually putting in the effort and putting in the energy. And I think we're fighting smart now. And it's pretty exciting. Here we go. Here's the news on Luzerne County.
We heard Aisha reporting earlier about registration for Republicans in one particular county, Lucerne County in Pennsylvania. They're happy with that. They should be happy all across the state of Pennsylvania. It is a big story. If we go back to 2016, you see that Donald Trump wins by a little more than 44,000 votes. We go to 2020 in Pennsylvania, Joe Biden wins by a little more than 81,000 votes. But let's compare and contrast the registrations in all of these years. Democrats had 892,000 more Democrats than Republicans registered in 2016, 666,000 more Democrats than the Republicans in 2020. And look at this. These are the registrations now, 338,000 more Democrats than Republicans. But that number has been almost cut in half. And if you go back to the map and we go back to 2016, again, the spread 44,000 for Donald Trump's win. That is at a place where Democrats had 554,000 more Democrats registered than are registered now in the state of Pennsylvania. That is a huge story that we're going to be watching to see how that affects the vote on election night.
All right. How's it gonna work out? It's going to be very, very interesting. We look forward to the Trump rally on the 5th of October back in Butler. And we look forward to a very, very strong finish. I want to just put this up really quickly before we get to our guest, because some of these events are in the state of Wisconsin. President Trump is going to be in just doing just a freaking roundhouse kick to the entire country when it comes to events. There's going to be a Donald Trump rally near you, man. Savannah, Georgia, North Carolina, Michigan, Wisconsin, Michigan. I mean, these are events every single day, sometimes multiple times a day. Do you remember that 2016 energy, man, when Donald Trump was doing 4 or 5 rallies a day? It's wild. Georgia, Pennsylvania, rocking and rolling. This is the energy to win. Joining us live now, the great senator from the state of Wisconsin, a man who's done such excellent investigative work on the Trump assassinations, along with many other topics. Senator Ron Johnson joins live now. Senator, okay, we're talking through the polling. I'd like to just start off first by saying thank you and welcome to the show. How is Wisconsin going when it comes to this election? You obviously had a magnificent win not too long ago in the state. You know how to win Wisconsin. How does Trump do it?
Well, Benny, thanks for having me on. It's ground game. And I can tell you that the Republican Party of Wisconsin, all of our county chairs, a lot of outside groups are coming in, doing everything we can in terms of door knocking, finding out who will support President Trump. We're encouraging early voting. I'll be absentee voting as soon as I get home and get my absentee ballot. It's already been delivered, I hear. And I'll absentee vote, and then I'll encourage everybody to do the same thing. Spend the time from when they submit their absentee ballot to the election to get other people to vote early. I want to go into election day with Republicans ahead rather than a few 100,000 points down on election day. And then all we'll concentrate on election day is calling and getting our vote, get out the vote effort on the low propensity voters who will decide the election. So again, we got the game plan. The question is, how effectively are we going to be able to implement it?
Yeah, I heard this somewhere. I'm not exactly sure who said it. The Trump wins when you get Trump supporters to become Trump voters. There are so many more supporters, I think, of President Trump in Wisconsin, turning them into voters, right? This is the strategy.
Yeah, we got a large block of hunters that definitely, value the Second Amendment, but don't vote. We need to make sure that they understand that Kamala Harris will take away their guns. Okay, she's on record saying that, and she'll lie about it now. I mean, let's face it, Kamala Harris's entire campaign is just a pack of lies. It's pretty sad in today's politics that she's getting away with it. You got the legacy corporate media; they're not holding her accountable. Yeah. So again, Donald Trump really isn't running against Kamala Harris; he's running against the legacy media, and they're a powerful group.
So glad you brought that up. The simplest follow-up question to Kamala Harris's "tee-hee-hee, if you come into my house, you're gonna get shot" is, what kind of gun do you own? Can you just tell me the caliber? What's the make and model of the firearm that you own?
Yeah,
right? Like it's very simple. Like, okay, you keep bragging about how you're a gun owner. Okay, what gun?
Yeah, what shooting range you go to? How often you practice? How are you honing your skills so you can take out that burglar or whatever, whoever's broken into your house. So no, I mean, let's face it, she's completely phony, completely fake. When you hear these questions asked of her by just normal citizens, and she kind of has that faraway gaze, and she starts saying, well, let me, I was born in a middle-class family. we're a nation of people who aspire and we dream, and say, okay, that's all good, but how are you going to reverse the damage you've done in your 3 3/4 years of governance so far?
You've done the meme, Senator. I was born in a middle-class family. That's the meme. So I guess if you were to ask Kamala Harris about the recent spate of Trump assassinations by her donors, both have been Act Blue donors, both have been left-wing donors. One guy has a Kamala Harris bumper sticker on the back of his truck. I bet she'd probably start off with saying she's from a middle-class family.
Probably. Again, she's really got nothing, which quite honestly is surprising to me. She was on my Homeland Security Committee when I was chair. She would come in And she was very mean to the witnesses. It must have been that her staff just wrote pretty mean questions, which she was able to deliver in a pretty mean mood. So I just never realized that all she could really spout was a bunch of word salads. But it's just embarrassing. It's just cringeworthy to watch. And what's so concerning is that she's got a 50-50 chance of becoming president of the United States. That is frightening. And it really, again, calls into question the effectiveness of the legacy media who are no longer journalists. By and large, they're advocates for the left, and they've got all that power at their disposal to drag Joe Biden across the finish line when he campaigned from his basement, and I guess drag somebody as inarticulate and literally empty-headed as Kamala Harris is.
I would like, since you did serve with her on this committee, I would like to ask, is there any behind the scenes, since you've interacted with Kamala Harris a little more than I think the average person in Washington, any behind the scenes, like who is Kamala Harris exactly?
Not really. Again, she would rarely be there for testimony. She would come in when it was her time for questioning, and she would just be mean to the witnesses. I mean, it was in my committee that she basically accused the director of ICE of running an operation that was like the KKK. And that was kind of typical questioning. So no, she was obviously a radical leftist, does not support securing the border. I mean, like Joe Biden, she is absolutely for opening the border. I mean, as presidential candidate, I think she was on stage saying she'd end deportation, offer free health care to illegal immigrants. That's what they've done. That's why our border is wide open. And, certainly more than 10 million people have come to this country under their leadership.
It seems like an increasingly dangerous environment because of this open border. And now some of your colleagues in the House on the Republican side have said that there are assassination teams hunting President Trump. Some of them are foreign, from Iran, Pakistan, Ukraine, and they would assumedly get into our country through an open border. Seems wildly dangerous, coupled with the federal government releasing a bounty effectively on President Trump's head. We can't learn anything about the Nashville shooter, but they can release the manifesto of a guy who just tried to kill Trump, $150,000 to kill the president, saying that he'll be happy to pay. This seems incredibly reckless by the federal government. Your take, Senator?
It is, and it's infuriating to me. The FBI told me that, they would turn over the 302s, their transcriptions of the more than 1,000 interviews they've conducted. We've only been given access to 12 members of DHS. So, they were going to turn over those transcriptions of their interviews as soon as possible. That was like 6 weeks ago. We haven't received one. And so here they won't tell us what they know about crooks, about his encrypted accounts. They're really not telling us about, what intelligence the CIA, the FBI, CBP had on this latest assassin, but they're willing to send his manifesto out there talking about a $150,000 bounty. I mean, it is outrageous. It's infuriating. And again, just calls into question. Well, I don't have the question. We have these agencies, these departments infiltrated by the radical left. They're highly partisan. They undermine the Trump administration. They're going to do everything they can to make sure he doesn't become president again because he threatens their cushy jobs.
Do they know anything about Thomas Crooks? What's being withheld from the public right now? What we heard was that they can't even get into his they can't get into his cell phone. It's the first cell phone ever that the government can't hack.
No, I've heard there's actually some pretty routine encryption. They've been able to break it. That's what I've heard. But no, we haven't seen anything of it. So again, this isn't my first rodeo. I've tried to investigate. I've tried to oversight these agencies. They do not believe they're accountable to the American public, certainly not congressional oversight. They are the law, so they hold themselves above it. And this is how they operate. They turn over 2,500 pages of documents, heavily redacted. They're pretty much meaningless as a result. Sometimes minutes before we actually do an interview that we need that documentation for, they come up and brief Congress, tell us nothing other than that, well, everybody is responsible for security, which means nobody was responsible, which means nobody can be held accountable. And again, so they feign cooperation, but we don't get it at all. So again, we're going to release a preliminary report. I think there will be one finding in particular that ought to raise a bunch of questions. I can't tell you about it until it's released tomorrow morning. But, by and large, what the report will primarily show is how many questions remain unanswered. What we haven't gotten from the FBI. I mean, for example, no 302s. We don't have the autopsy. We don't have the toxicology. Why did you release the body for cremation? Where are the bullet trajectory reports? How did you secure this crime scene? I mean, is that standard procedure? So again, there's so many unanswered questions. And again, if you were to design investigation to drive conspiracy theories, heighten suspicion, this is exactly how you go about doing it.
Wow. Yes. So they know who he was communicating with, because this has been a lingering question for our program: is how does a zit-faced 19-year-old kid with no tactical training, no military training, create 3 canister bombs, have the capacity to crawl within 100 yards of the president, take a shot, hit the president? Trump ate a bullet. This seems like there's far larger operation going on here, not a lone wolf.
The Heritage Foundation, using his phone ID, tracked him all over the place. And in a secure setting, I asked the FBI briefer at that point in time about that. And he just sort of, rolled his eyes and shrugged his shoulders and didn't even address my very legitimate question. So again, you got that out there in the internet. They're not addressing, I think, legitimate concerns. And as a result, they're just driving conspiracy theories. Which makes you wonder. Again, that was the number one thing. They didn't want conspiracy theories. That's what FBI Director Wray, then Director Cheadle. We want to be straightforward. We don't want to have conspiracy theories run wild. Well, then tell us what you know. And they're not. And so that raises my suspicion, as well as the suspicion of probably at least half America.
Yeah, Ryan Ralph was flagged by the FBI for being a felony for owning a weapon of mass destruction, getting in a standoff with the cops, fully automatic machine gun. He had 73 different criminal convictions, and the FBI got a tip that he owned firearms, which he did. And did they just do nothing about it, Senator?
Well, and CIA has to have a file on him when he's in Ukraine. CBP was tipped off. I mean, they questioned him. Homeland Security investigations didn't follow up on that. So again, that's why the federal government, lets some guy like that slip through their fingers if there's not even potentially something more nefarious. So they're not turning over the records. We may never get them. By the way, just real quick, let's say Donald Trump becomes president. He's vowed he's going to release all the JFK assassination files. Do you think the CIA will actually provide those to President Trump to turn over?
President Trump has told Judge Napolitano that he's seen him, and there's a reason why he didn't release him. So I don't know. I guess I don't have the clearance level.
I'm not sure if Trump saw him. I know that Mike Pompeo begged him not to release them. That's why he didn't release them. But again, what's the president being shown? I know President Trump declassified a bunch of information. He wanted to make it available to Senator Grassley's and my investigation. We never got a page of that. He declassified it. It's going through the interagency process. We never got a page. Those pages of documentation are probably lost to history.
You never got a page. So he declassified the JFK documents for you.
No, not the JFK documents. These are documents that were responsive to our inquiry on Hunter Biden, the Russian collusion hoax. I mean, the investigations that Senator Grassley and I were cooperating together or conducting together in 2020.
Wow. That's just wild. I mean, yes. I mean, to answer your question, Senator, yes. I mean, based on what we know, and you know so much more, but based on what we know, no way they're going to actually give that up. And it makes no sense because everyone who was involved in that is dead. What would they find? Who exactly are they protecting?
Well, again, I'm separating two things. Documents responsive to our investigation, JFK, is two separate things. But again, what it both indicate is these agencies are powers unto themselves. They do everything to cover up, to protect themselves, their personnel, their buddies. That they do not believe they're responsible to the American public or even a president. I think Mike Pompeo had dinner with RFK Jr. One of the things that RFK Jr. talked about that meeting is Mike Pompeo admitted in that dinner that there's a group inside the CIA that do not believe in American democracy. They believe that they are the power and kind of screw the rest of us.
That's terrifying. Just in closing here, Senator, how would you advise President Trump? I know he listens to you and he's worked with you before, and you're an ally of the president. How would you advise him to try and like crack that open, right? Like how do you break up an organ like that goes to the machine like that? That seems like an actual threat to democracy.
Well, he's going to come into office a second time now with his eyes wide open, not relying on swamp creatures to help him staff. And again, that's a significant challenge, trying to staff administration. I'm assuming, and I have to hope and pray, that he's already identified unbelievably good and high integrity managers that share his goal of rooting out the partisanship, reforming these agencies so that they are accountable, first of all, to him, the duly elected president of the United States, and accountable to the American public. And again, these agencies need to be completely reformed. I'm heartened by the fact that he wants to put Elon Musk in charge. I mean, I'd love to see Elon Musk come in, do to federal agencies what he did to Twitter, where he basically laid off 80 to 85% of the workforce, and Twitter's actually up and running, probably better than it ever was. It's certainly a freer platform than it was. So that's exactly the kind of thinking that we need brought into these federal agencies. Set those federal governments free into the private sector where we need workers. We need people to start making things in this country. A lot of federal workers aren't coming into work. Well, let's put them to work in the private sector.
Yeah, I mean, that's right. And Elon Musk wearing a black MAGA hat yesterday, meeting with the president of Argentina. Right there, we were looking for an opportunity to put this photo up. So thank you, Senator. We appreciate.
Try to give you that opportunity.
We deeply appreciate your investigations and your time, Senator. We say Godspeed in the greatest of sense, because we do feel like there's evil that is hunting President Trump. We still can't get it out of our head that there are assassination teams traveling around the country trying to hunt Donald Trump and look for an opportunity to kill him. I guess in closing, have you seen any evidence of that? Have you seen any intelligence that is true?
No, I don't have access to those whistleblowers who are making that claim. But listen, I take it seriously. I just hope and pray President Trump, his campaign, is taking seriously. After the first assassination attempt, my recommendation was for President Trump to get his own security, at least head, to make sure that what the Secret Service does is adequate. I think other people have really called for more Navy SEALs, some Blackwater folks to come in there and completely take over his security. He needs to take this very seriously, not only for his own protection, but the protection of the people that go to support him to these rallies as well. I mean, there are a lot of crazy people out there, and you are right. We are battling evil in many respects. We're battling evil.
That's right. That's right. Pray for President Trump. Support those who are actually doing the work and the fight and fighting that evil. The great Senator Ron Johnson, 610,000 subscribers here on X. And you might even get some more when you're working with Elon Musk in Washington, D.C. in a couple months.
I hope that's the case.
Thank you, Senator.
Take care.
All right. Hey, man, we are asking the right questions. I guess we should be quicker on the draw with the JFK conversation. What does this have? What does the senator know? What are they trying to hide? What does it all mean? How much of the actual creation and inception of what we would so-called the deep state originates from the JFK assassination? When you speak with people who actually know about it, then it all emanates from there. That was the death of American democracy right there. That was the moment when the government said we're more powerful than the people. And they effectively created a different country. You sort of look at it on a timeline. It's a different country. They torched the founding documents. They shredded the founding documents in that moment. We are no longer a government of the people. We're living inside of a rogue government that are our oppressors and act to rig and to defile the founding principles of this nation. And Donald Trump stands against that. And if there's no other reason to lock in, that's it, man. That's it. The Ryan Routh letter. I want to make sure that we get to this. The Ryan Routh letter said he wanted to kill Trump because it was unfit, and he echoed Joe Biden's rhetoric. So this guy's actually using Joe Biden talking points against Donald Trump on his path to kill him. Here we go.
So in this purported letter, the FBI says Ruth was motivated to kill Trump because he believed the former president was unfit and destructive to America's moral fabric. Does that sound familiar?
The American people must decide whether Donald Trump's assault on our democracy on January 6th makes him unfit for public office. I've been saying for now well over a year, he is not fit to serve. Donald Trump is not fit to be the job of president, to be the commander-in-chief. And he literally is putting to the test this invisible moral fabric.
Where's all the political violence coming from? The left. Where has all the political violence always come from? The left. Who are always political violent extremists? The left. Always. You can set your calendar by it. You can set your clock by it. Vivek, on this letter last night, we still are processing how the federal government rushed the evidence out, didn't wait, rushed the evidence out that you can make big money on Trump assassinations. Here we go.
Assassination attempts are strange enough in American history, but this becomes downright strange. Last time around, and it's sad this is becoming a trend, Jesse, by the way, we still don't have the information about the Secret Service failures for the last assassination attempt. But even by comparison to that one, this is downright bizarre. Why somebody else would receive a box multiple weeks in advance, not open it? Whose instructions say not to open it? Why do the contents of the letter actually say that the person who is supposedly attempting to carry this out planned to not actually see it followed through? None of it makes sense, but it's just another reminder. It's one of the themes that comes out in my book as well. We deserve a government that is just transparent with the people again in this country, not the partial transparency of the kind that you're seeing attempts at right now from the FBI, but just total transparency to the public. It may be ugly. Tell us what it is. That's how we're going to move this country forward. More free speech and open debate. That's how we revive our nation.
Vivek Ramaswamy will be on the program tomorrow morning live. Josh Hawley, a colleague of Senator Ron Johnson, saying that all Secret Service leadership needs to be fired immediately. This would be his advice to President Trump. I'm sure that you agree with that. We certainly do on this program. Get rid of the rot at the top. Many good Secret Service agents, good FBI agents, good law enforcement agents. We're fans of law enforcement. You have to get rid of the rot, the political leadership at the very top of these organizations in order to begin reform. Here we go.
Oh, exactly. You know, I'll never forget, Sean, that director telling me under oath in a Senate hearing that, boy, it really could have been a lot worse than Butler. I mean, it could have been like Dallas in 1963. And I'm like, could have been? I mean, a civilian was killed. Trump was shot. I mean, he was actually shot. Let's not forget what happened there. And listen, now we've got another shooting attempt. Clearly what they're doing is not working, number one. Number two, Sean, they're not following their own protocols. That's what the whistleblowers tell me. And I just want to know, what's the truth here? What's going on at the Secret Service? And you're right, it's leadership. That's the problem here. These agents in the field, they're working their butts off. They're doing what they can, but their leadership is failing them. And I tell you what, they need to do something to instill some confidence. We need to see some people fired. We need to see new protocols put into place. We need to be assured that Trump is being protected and everybody going to his rallies are being protected. And Sean, right now, I don't have confidence in any of that.
It's a really great point that everybody going to the rallies are being protected. Does anybody even know the name Corey Comprentor? Does anybody know the name? Like, why is that not a name where people are building monuments to him right now? Like where are the plaques commemorating the fact that this firefighter who was there practicing his obligation as an American, free speech and free assembly, was murdered just because he was a member of the America First and MAGA movement? We're so bad at messaging as a party, man. We're so bad at messaging. It's something I'm going to fix in my lifetime, man. Something we're going to fix on this program. There's a new generation of people coming up that are smarter and would not like when the left does something like this and radicalizes. I'm not saying that Joe Biden pulled the trigger, but when the left radicalizes someone to this degree, there should be suffering politically for that. There should be a reckoning politically for this. It's wrong. It's, of course, wrong to try and murder the presidential candidate. Did anybody even like pause? Did anybody even stop or pull the reins for a day and say, whoa, we should not be using this kind of language with Donald Trump? Put a target on him, take him out. Got to shoot Trump, says Stacey Plaskett, live on MSNBC. The fake member of Congress from the Virgin Islands, but she said it. We must shoot. This is what she said. Guys, I mean, it's like we need to lock, you got to lock in. The reason that they do this is, of course, to try and make you ashamed of voting for President Trump, to try and stop people from going to his MAGA rallies. The reason why they don't make Cory Compertor a hero, because that man dove to save his daughter. He died actually saving his family. His children were with him at the rally. He died protecting them. The reason they don't want to talk about it is because, well, it speaks to bravery that they, of course, could never muster. But then, two, the intended goal is to say that MAGA rallies are scary and you shouldn't go to them. Well, that's backfiring. Here's President Trump yesterday in Pennsylvania. He was in a place called Indiana, Pennsylvania. What a rally shot. Look at this. Members of the Trump campaign and team saying it's the loudest rally that, yeah, sure. Loudest rally I've ever heard. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Pennsylvania. Thank you.
I am telling you, that Donald Trump is locked in. This is victory Trump. You're starting to see it all over again. And the victory messaging. Hear from yesterday, Trump on illegal immigration. Just like we've seen in London and Minneapolis, Kamala Harris wins the election. She will flood Pennsylvania cities and towns with illegal immigrants from all over the world. And Pennsylvania will not be Pennsylvania any longer. Here we go. This is the messaging to win.
Reckless migration policy can change it very quickly, and it can destroy everything in its way, just like we've seen in London and Paris and Minneapolis. Look at what's happened in London. Look what's happening in Paris. If Kamala Harris wins this election, she will flood Pennsylvania cities and towns with illegal migrants from all over the world, and Pennsylvania will never be the same. You will never be the same. When I'm president, all migrant flights to Pennsylvania will stop immediately. By the way, all migrant flights. Not only to Pennsylvania, everywhere.
You know, it's amazing if you actually follow the Fed, and I don't necessarily encourage you to, but Jerome Powell, who's Federal Reserve Chair, in his cutting of the basis points, 50 basis point, biggest basis point cut for interest rates in the country, he said that illegal immigration is really destroying America's chance to have low unemployment, and that illegal immigration is the leading cause of high unemployment in the country and lethargic growth for the economy. Jerome Powell, no member of MAGA. So Donald Trump's right there. Donald Trump, in of course Trumpian form. The IRS has endorsed Kamala Harris, which they have. I don't actually want that endorsement. Here we go.
It's no wonder that Kamala Harris was just officially endorsed by IRS agents. Do you believe it? That's when you'd say, I'd rather not have that endorsement.
Okay. All right. Let's get salty at the end. Let's get salty here, baby. Because Donald Trump doing things that are causing the salt to pour. I want to actually decline. I want to jump down to the B block because this is too good. This is President Trump at his best. President Trump going to a local grocery store. What grocery store is this? Let's see. What Donald Trump promised a Pennsylvania mother of three in a grocery store, handed her a $100 bill. Donald Trump always has C notes on his person. I've seen it in person. We've had dinner with President Trump before on a number of occasions, and I've watched Donald Trump reach into his pocket and with like the busboys and like the busboys and the kids that come up to the table, right, to grab the plates and things and take the silverware away. That dude, Donald Trump, and he's not doing it for the camera. There was not a camera around. Although I have a photo of it. I have a photo. There's not a camera around. Donald Trump handing $100 bills to the staffers. Donald Trump, I've seen it with my own eyes. No video cameras, no TV, no recordings. Donald Trump like sitting there just slipping hundreds to like the kids that are like cleaning up the French fries. It's pretty amazing. Pretty incredible. Donald Trump eating his steak well done with French fries and ketchup. that was the order. Do with that what you will. Donald Trump paid $100 to a grocery store in Mother, Pennsylvania, on Monday during a living room politics stop at a local grocery store chain. This chain is called Sprankles. Okay, Sprankles grocery store. Never been to one. Maybe you know. Do you any Sprankles fans out there? All right. Danny, producer Danny, saying the steak order is disqualifying. Maybe we can make that an argument. Maybe we should do a debate on that. Well, let's do a debate on Friday. We'll have Danny and ALX on the program, and we'll debate Donald Trump's steak order, because both these guys have had dinner with Donald Trump. We've all had dinner with Trump. We've all seen this order. We should have that conversation. ALX deeply passionate about this. Danny very, very passionate about this. Also has very high quality taste in food. I know this of Danny D'Arena. So maybe we should have that. Let's do that brawl. Let's do that brawl on Friday. We'll do it for free for all Friday. The steak debate. Here, Trump says, back to the article. Here, Trump says, talking about taking a Benjamin out of his pocket, handing it to the store patron. I'm going to go down a little bit. He says the grocery store bill that day, it went down $100. Okay, so Donald Trump paying for this mother's groceries. We actually have the moment here caught on camera.
Take the rest of it. Here, it's going to go down a little bit. It just went down $100. We'll do that for you from the White House, all right?
Thank you.
All right, bye. Nice seeing you, everybody. Beautiful. They're your kids?
Yeah, they are. 3 boys.
Perfecto. Perfecto. 3 for 3. Bye, everybody.
Genius. I mean, it's like Trump at his best. It's called retail politics, gripping and grinning. Kamala could never. Have you seen Kamala outside of in a non-scripted event? Have you ever seen her interacting with anybody? It's like watching like an alien in a human suit trying to be a human being. Kamala Harris with the kids at the Naval Observatory, like talking about telescopes in space. Space. It's like so big. Wow. Like I was like, what's wrong? What kind of drugs are you on? I think a lot, actually. The mother got interviewed, who was helped out by President Trump. Yes, she's a real person, not an actress. Here we go.
The total bill was $194 and some change. And the inflation on groceries has definitely affected us. I remember I think it was late 2022 or early 2023, I remember coming home from the grocery store and telling him, I don't even know how to budget for groceries anymore, because it's like every time I go to the store, they just go up and up and up. And that paired with the rising cost of energy, fuel for our vehicles, it just means that we watch a little bit more closely what we spend.
Real person, not an actress. We showed you yesterday how there were multiple actresses are coming forward talking about how they don't support Kamala Harris, even though they've been featured in Kamala content. People talking about the nail salon, the hot goss at the nail salons that the unemployed illegal immigrant relatives of people working at the nail salon are being paid by the Kamala campaign to go hold signs for her. Very good. We look forward to James O'Keefe's investigation into all of this. Donald Trump grabbing the big bag of popcorn. Man, this is how you know. Man of the people. Here we go.
Oh, look, I got to get some.
Oh, okay.
Look at that stuff. I want just have it. We got to get it.
My mom just got a bag of that, actually.
Is it good stuff? Good?
She says it's the best.
Is that the best?
She says it's the best.
If it is, I'll be in Washington, D.C., hopefully in the Oval Office. I'll send for popcorn. Okay?
Appreciate that.
Does this look like a man that's worried to you? Does this look like a man that's worried to you? No. This is more of this. No more ABC News debates, please. Okay? No more debates. No more debates. This is how Trump wins. This is how Trump wins. This is how Trump won in 2016. I mean, everyone loves the because you'd be in jail moment, but this is actually how you change hearts and minds. Talk a lot about it. Ooh, ALX with the flashback. Super rare post from me. Dinner with Trump. Must have been 8 years ago, at least. Here's Donald Trump handing the C note to the busboy. You can see it. Boom. There you go. And you can zoom in on that you zoom in on the $100 bill. No, man, it's a Benjamin. Caught in not 4K. Yeah, caught in 720p. But there it is. You can see it. We watched it happen, man. The dude's real. That dude is real. So it's a very, very exciting moment, a beautiful moment, and something that I think we're gonna. I'm very, very uplifted about what we're seeing. And I know we live in dark times, but I believe that there is a mood and an energy around the country, and that mood is going to be on the side of light and going to be on the side of right. You can see it in the meltdowns on TV that are hysterical and very funny. Morning Joe had a massive meltdown today because the media has begun to very lightly criticize Kamala Harris. This is our salt that live of the day. Please get all of your salt out and pour salt on Morning Joe as he has a meltdown. Kamala Harris, not for the media, just ever so lightly brushing Kamala Harris with the feather dusting of criticism. Here we go.
She actually gave a 3-point answer, and she talked about $50,000 for startup small businesses. She talked about tax breaks, $25,000 tax breaks for first-time home buyers. She talked about a private investment partnership that would help create the building of 3 million new jobs. Those are specific answers to specific questions. And yet, two people, one at the Wall Street Journal, one at the New York Times, were like, did you hear her talking about her background and her middle class? And then they go, oh, yeah. She got to the policy questions later, but she never tells us anything about anything. Actually, that's just a lie. It's an absolute lie. And it also ignores what politicians have been doing for hundreds of years. When somebody asked me about jobs, I always started talking about my father at 40 years old, losing his job, being laid off at Lockheed. I talked about driving around the South. My entire family, when I was 7 or 8, sitting in the backseat. My dad going to town, trying to find a job so he could support the family. And I kept going through that. And then I would end by saying, and that's why the greatest social policy is a job. And these are the 3 things we're going to do to create a job. Nobody mocked me. Nobody's ever mocked a politician for actually talking about their background and how it influences their policy. But now, as we get in the home stretch, the anti-Trumpers who just can't admit they are going to vote for a man who tried to overthrow American democracy, who did what they did on January 6th, they're desperately trying to create the permission structure so they can vote for a man who said he was going to terminate the Constitution, that the chairman of the Joint Chiefs should be executed, that he told his staff members that Mike Pence deserved to be hanged. I could go down the list. I could do it for hours. Whose own lawyer said he could kill his political opponents using SEAL Team 6 and could not be prosecuted for it. Could not be prosecuted while he was in the White House. I could go down all of those lists, but they're looking at an interview where Kamala Harris gives the answer. They just say, oh, but she told her life story at the beginning of that Philadelphia interview like no politician has ever done. Did Ronald Reagan do that? Did Barack Obama? Yeah, damn straight they did. Did Bill Clinton tell stories? Yeah, damn straight they did. This is absolutely insane.
I love that clip because Senator Johnson from Wisconsin did the meme. I come from a middle-class family. Did the meme. The meltdowns are real. The meltdowns are going to get great. I mean, this is. I'll tell you this in closing. We probably won't sleep on election night. We'll just go the whole week just redlining because there's going to be so many seething, screaming libs. The salt will flow in a way that we've never really experienced before on this planet. The salt will rain down from the sky. It will be so delicious. You can see everything playing out right now. Donald Trump polling better than he's ever polled before. Kamala Harris polling worse than any Democrat by orders of magnitude against Donald Trump. Ties in all the swing states. What does that mean? Doom. Kamala Harris begging, groveling on her knees for President Trump to do another debate. Trump saying, F off. Trump going and grabbing bags of popcorn, paying for ladies' groceries, and being like, I love popcorn. Boom. This is how you win, man. This is it. You can feel that energy. You can sense it. Donald Trump doing a campaign event per day. Yeah. Yep. That's it. This is where we're going to be. And this is where we're going to live. And we are prepared for it. The salt will flow on that election night. It's going to be glorious. And he's Joe Scarborough. That Joe Scarborough clip is going to look tame. Oh, you're talking about a middle class background. So self-referential. It's amazing. He has to give some like long story about himself. To talk for like 2 minutes about like his background. Nobody cares, man. Nobody cares. Why don't you run for office? Why doesn't somebody ask what happened to Joe Scarborough when he did run for office? What happened inside of his office with his internship program? Somebody should ask that. Somebody should really look into that. I think that's a really nice segue into our verse of the day. Let's do a palate cleanser here, ladies and gentlemen. From Hebrews 11. God had planned something better for us, so that only together with us would they be made perfect. There's been a lot of stuff we've been through over the last couple of years. And there's been some trying times. There's been some tough shows to do. President Trump arraigned, President Trump indicted, President Trump found guilty, all this stuff. President Trump shot. There's been some tough shows, man. And God intends this as discipline for us. He intends this to make us stronger. He intends this for us to build up, and he planned something better for us. He's planned something better for this country. I don't think God's done with this country yet. I don't think so. I really don't. Remember, we're fighting a spiritual battle here, okay? So lock in. Don't put your faith in man. Don't put your faith in any person. Don't put your faith in any party. Just align your morals and your values, and then vote accordingly and then act accordingly. You must. It is so important. Action is so important. Everyone just sitting around doing nothing. Action. Take action. Ladies and gentlemen, you can take action. You can help us out by becoming a member, joining the Benny Brigade. If you support the work that we're doing, we are going to be doing quite a bit of travel. I'm pretty sure we're going to be going to doing some travel this week. I think we'll announce it tomorrow. And we're going to be hitting the road through the election. I've already told my wife, probably not going to be home for any weekends. We're going to roll. We're going to make sure that we're doing everything possible, and that no one will be able to say of us that we didn't do everything possible to defeat communism in our lifetime in this country. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for your support. March along with us onto victory. Heads held high. We are happy warriors. You cannot defeat an army of happy warriors, and warriors that are armed with spicy memes like this one. It's your boy Benny. See ya.
Better.
Show yourself!
It cannot be. I'm back.
Again.
Better. I'm back. Than ever. I'm back.
Benny Show, where the truth gon' be. Faith and freedom on your TV screen. Stand up strong, battle through the night. The Benny Show's here, bringing liberty to life. From the speeches to debates, Benny sharp like a blade. Cutting through the lies, watch the truth cascade. With the warrior's heart, this man never fades. You know it's prime time when Benny invades. From saving the nation to stories untold, the Benny Show's a storm, see the truth unfold. Stay in the loop, let freedom take hold. Salting all the libs, soul never sold. It's the Benny Show, where the truth gon' be. Faith and freedom on your TV screen. Stand up strong, battle through the night. The Benny Show's here, bringing liberty to light. Liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light. Liberty to light. Bringing liberty to life. From the speeches to debates, Benny sharp like a blade, cutting through the lies, watch the truth cascade. With the warrior's heart, this man never fades. You know it's prime time when Benny invades. From saving the nation to stories untold, the Benny shows the storm, see the truth unfold. Stay in the loop, let freedom take hold. Salting all the libs, soul never sold. It's the Benny Show, where the truth gon' be. Faith and freedom on your TV screen. Stand up strong, battle through the night. The Benny Show's here, bringing liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light.